My name is Mehek. I hope you guys are all fine, and like always, I also hope that you guys are reading. The book that I'm going to review this week is My Father's Wake. It's by Toolis. How the Irish Teach Us to Live, Love and Die. I have mentioned it a few times in my videos that I'm just obsessed with Ireland. I love everything Irish. It's in my bucket list that one day I really want to visit Ireland. So I'm usually very biased and pick up books which have the background is about Ireland or anything related to Ireland, and I know I just want to pick it up and read it. That was the primary motive to pick this book as well. Just a disclaimer before I get into the reviews. For those of you who do not like the topic or are comfortable with the topic of death, you might want to skip this book. The plot line is, it's actually the story of the author Toolis. He's someone who has observed death at very first hand. So when he was young, he was a child, he was diagnosed with TB, and he was admitted into this ward where a lot of adult patients were there and they were suffering from various lung diseases. So he has seen death very closely. It was like a buffet of, he describes that time like, being surrounded with buffet of death. He also lost his brother who, had a bone marrow transplant, but somehow his immunity really got impacted after the transplant, so he died. And then Kevin has also worked as a journalist at various war zones. So he has been steeped in death, you can say, throughout his life. But I think until he comes for his father's wake, he doesn't really truly understand the meaning of it. It all comes together for him, how we can embrace death, I would say. So he belongs to a rural Ireland, and this place, it's a small island, and here people actually celebrate death. You have these custom rituals related to death after a person dies that lingers for many days. So usually death is a whisper, like it says in the book, that around, especially in India, I'm sure you all can relate that death here is a whisper. Nobody wants to talk about it. When someone dies, we dim our lights, we really talk in soft voices, we pull the curtains, and the atmosphere just changes immediately. But that's not the case in this island in Ireland. The book says that death has a loud voice here. So very interesting thing. So besides they have their radio channel. So besides the daily weather reports, there is a roll call of all the departed souls. So every morning you'll have the radio reciting names of people who have departed. The neighborhoods, people who might even not know you, gather in huge numbers. The entire community come together and they spend time with the family who has lost their loved ones. They sit next to the body, and they, it says, in the book that they literally dig the graves with their hand and carry the coffin on their shoulders. They just celebrate or cherish death as something which happens daily. It's a daily occurrence. It's not something that is different or something that is to be not spoken about. Now, Kevin is on his way for his father's wake. His father, Sonny, is dying. And the extended family, friends, neighborhoods, everyone has just come together, and they're really spending, being around. So they have the death, the wake, and the funeral. So like I said, the rituals and the customs extends for many days. So the entire community has come together. They sit next to Sonny and they tell him good things, and they're just around him. And once he dies, they wash him, they dress him, they kiss him goodbye to his body in the coffin. And it's just not the elderly people, from the old folks to the children, everyone participate in it. And there's just a celebration in the air for the life that he had and the good person he was. There is sandwiches and coffee and juices which are consumed in huge numbers. and people are just there, you know, the whole community is just there for Sonny and his family. So I think what the writer is doing here is that he's making a very important point. He's making two very important points. One is that if death is such a natural phenomena, if it's something that is happening daily, you know, around us, why is it so hidden? Why are we not talking about it? It's just like a landmark in our life, like wedding or birthdays. Death is as common. Then why is it still a topic of taboo for so many people and for so many countries, especially India? You know, I'm sure you guys will resonate here with me that we do not involve our children. We do not accept. We still have the fear of death, which is, I think, the universal truth. Another important point that I think the author says is based on community. He says that the grief and death, is something that should be shared within the community. So no one, absolutely no one should feel that, that we have to live, love or die alone. Because like it says in the book, on this island, the entire community comes together and they are there with you. So that is how it should be. Grief and death, at least during the time of the death, it should be something that is shared within the community by everyone. So I think that was something that I really liked, how the whole idea of community, like even if people don't know you, they will gather in huge numbers and come for you and say nice words and just be around, you know. It says in the book, like there were people when Kevin's dad died, there were people sitting for, you know, the whole night and hours and days. They were just being around, making the presence felt, which I think was really interesting. So yeah, that is what majorly the book is all about. Now, I had huge expectations from the book. I mean, it's great. Like I have read another book which is on my channel about death. So most of the things in this book about that topic was similar. Like the school of thought was similar. But what didn't work for me was, I think, just the style of writing by the author. It's not something that really keeps you hooked and entertained. I mean, it's. I know the topic is death, but like for example, what I expected from the book is that there's going to be some kind of comparison and a deeper knowledge about how all these rituals happen in Ireland, and what are the Irish customs, and there's going to be some kind of comparison with maybe America, Australia, Canada or other countries. But that wasn't the case. Ultimately the book just became personal conclusions that the author gave from his deriving from his own feelings. This was not something, I mean, it wasn't really factual, and I was expecting more factual knowledge, whereas it turned out to be like a memoir, I would say, where the author is sharing his own personal feelings about, and what happens on his island. So I think that was my only issue. But yeah, I mean, if you are intrigued by the whole concept and idea of death and what the Irish wake looks like, you might want to give this book a try. That's all on this book. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you liked my video, please do like it and please subscribe so you can be updated whenever I share the book reviews. Thank you. Bye-bye.